What's good? It's your boy Terry Money. Today I'm gonna check out another one from work, and I'm gonna form articles or blogs. I don't know which one it is. I guess it's articles right here. It says right here, but I'm gonna read this blog right here to get into what they're expecting the next, basically in the year, around the year 2025 or 2027, around those years. But let me read this to explain. Younger generations expected to spend a lot more time in the metaverse. This was published in August 19th of this year. A survey from McKinney reviewed some of the skepticism directed at the metaverse, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna read his name, but the metaverse have entered the mainstream. But a survey from McKinsey refuted some of the skepticism directed its way. It found that Gen Z, I think that's my nieces and nephews' generation, millennials, that's my generation, and Gen X, I guess that's this generation, or yeah, probably the ones that were born this decade and later on. But let me read it again. It found that Gen Z, millennials, and Gen X consumers expected to spend between 4 and 5 hours a day in the metaverse in the next 5 years. Now I know they published this around this year, but basically, around if they say 5 years from this year, it's gonna be around 2026 or 2027 that the metaverse will be open to the public once the developers develop the worlds and stuff like that. I mean, you got Roblox and Second Life and stuff, but there's gonna be many more metaverses. Definitely, Facebook might be the head honcho when it comes to their metaverse, but they deal with VR headsets. These other metaverses deal with 2D screens. So, immersive shopping, followed by telehealth, appointments, education, travel, socializing in VR, or using AR will be the most interesting metaverse activities for consumers in the next 5 years. As the concept of the metaverse have entered the mainstream, everyone from comedians to Wall Street analysts have taken to framing the much hyped concept as a bold business means that doesn't stand a chance at success. Now, a survey from McKinsey refuted some of the skepticism directly at the metaverse. It found that Gen Z, millennials, and Gen X consumers expected to spend between 4 and 5 hours a day in the metaverse in the next 5 years. Comparatively, a recently new study found that consumers spend roughly 5 hours a day watching TV across various platforms. The McKinsey study surveyed over 1,000 consumers aged 13 to 72 home and on the expectations and realities of the transition from laptops and smartphones to wearable devices for virtual reality and augmented reality. So starting in 2030, we're gonna have like basically AR glasses and VR headsets, and it's gonna be VR headsets gonna be at 8K in 2030. But when they're on the AR headsets, that's dealing with the glasses and bringing the digital into the physical. The race to mainstream immersive computing is still in its early stages. Like I told you, AI, all that is still in its early stages, like they say on this website. I've been saying that for years, but the thing is, I already know that to be true because if you go around now and look at our phones, especially with 5G and all that, it's not fully fast yet, and you can't really download yet with the 5G. You know what I mean. But it's still in its early stage, like they said. The most well-known metaverse device in the Meta Quest 2 VR headset is primarily used for gaming that may change soon. Immersive shopping, followed by telehealth, appointments, education, travel, socializing in VR, or using AR will be the most interesting metaverse activities for consumers in the next 5 years, according to study. One reason the broad adoption support by these dynamics is still a few years off is because of the limited options when it comes to easy to use immersive devices. There may be more choices for consumers and more competition for Meta soon. TikTok parent company ByteDance, I don't know how you pronounce that, It is rumored to be ready to a launch of its Pico standalone VR headset in the coming months. I don't know, that's it. The best AR device are primarily offered by Microsoft and Magic Leap for thousands of dollars, but Meta, Google, and others are far along in their development of affordable and fashionable AR smart glasses for general consumers. Apple is said to be preparing the announcement of its immersive wearable device in January 2023. Most users will need to embrace a new computing metaphor to harness the power of the metaverse. That sounds awesome. Despite these advances, immersive interfaces are largely unfamiliar and in some cases difficult to use compared to an iPhone, for example. That would need to be more that would need to be addressed in order to move users into this next phase of computing. And this is the next phase of computing. Current AR smart glasses give you a metaphor that looks like an Android phone on your face. Rectangles floating in space. That's not enough for mainstream smart glasses. The adoption to happen. Jared Franklin, Chief Creative Technologies at Argo Design, a former Magic Leap partner, said, before Windows was developed, you had to understand the directory-based computing. Very few people did. Once the Windows new metaphor was placed on computing, which was based on the 1960s Office, putting files into folders and having a desktop, suddenly 30% of the population could understand that, and they began using computers on average 6 to 8 hours a day, say frequently. But how will mainstream computer users move from an office work-based metaphor on two-dimensional screens like smartphones, tablets, and PCs to a three-dimensional immersive metaphor in glasses and goggles? The new metaphor will be mapping. Franklin say we need to take the way that we as humans think of geography in terms of mapping and create a computer metaphor. We will use the language of landscape layers and objects. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there you go, y'all. Younger generations expected to spend a lot more time in the metaverse. As you can see, they didn't include baby boomers because they didn't understand the technology when they first was born in this world, when technology was not really advanced then. But when it comes to people who was born in the 80s and the 90s and definitely the 70s, I don't know, yeah, definitely the 70s. We are definitely familiar with the virtual worlds because of video games. You know what I'm saying? When video games started to be popular in the 1990s, when Japan was creating their games, Sega, Nintendo, and PlayStation. Then when Microsoft decided to step into the game and create Xbox and stuff, whole 9 yards, man. So when it really comes down to it, though, y'all, this is a new thing right here. Talking about the metaverse. And you know what I'm saying, whole 9 yards. So this your boy Jeremy. I'm finna sign off. That's all I want to say. So when it really come down to it, the metaverse, what the War Economic Forum is doing, is really trying to help us to have a new life in a digital world where all our dreams can come true, all our fantasies will come true, and definitely our imaginations will come true. That's why when it comes to Street Fighter 6, when it comes to create a character, having an avatar, open world battle hub, and when it comes to other games as well, that's the beginning of having a second life in a digital world. You feel what I'm saying? That's what it really comes down to. So this is your boy Time Money. I'm finna sign off, and that's all I want to say. So be on the lookout for videos like this, and stay tuned. So peace.